तुलयामलवेनापि न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवम् भगवत्सङ्गी सङ्गस्य Martyanam Kimutashishaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. The value of a moment's association with the devotee of the Lord cannot even be compared to the attainment of heavenly planets or liberation from matter, and what to speak of worldly benedictions in the form of material prosperity, which are for those who are meant for death. Purport. When there are some similar points, it is possible to compare one thing to another. One cannot compare the association of a pure devotee to any material thing, to anything material. Men who are addicted to material happiness aspire to reach the heavenly planets like the moon, Venus, and Indraloka, and those who are advanced in material philosophical speculations aspire after liberation from all material bondage. When one becomes frustrated with all kinds of material advancement, one desires the opposite type of liberation, which is called apunar bhava, or no rebirth. But the pure devotees of the Lord do not aspire after the happiness obtained in the heavenly kingdom, nor do they aspire after liberation from material bondage. In other words, for the pure devotees of the Lord, the material pleasures obtainable in the heavenly planets are like phantasmagoria. And because they are already liberated from all material conceptions of pleasure and distress, they are factually liberated even in the material world. This means that the pure devotees of the Lord are engaged in a transcendental existence, namely in the loving service of the Lord, both in the material world and in the spiritual world. As a government servant is always the same, either in the office or at home or at any place, so a devotee has nothing to do with anything material, for he is exclusively engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord. Since he has nothing to do with anything material, what pleasure can he derive from material benedictions like kingship or other overlordships, which are finished quickly with the end of the body? Devotional service is eternal. It has no end because it is spiritual. Therefore, since the assets of a pure devotee are completely different from material assets, there is no comparison between the two. Suta Goswami was a pure devotee of the Lord, and therefore his associates with the rishis in Naimisharanya, his association with the rishis in Naimisharanya is unique. In the material world, association with gross materialists is veritably condemned. The materialist is called Yoshit Sangi, or one who is much attached to material entanglement, women and other paraphernalia. Such attachment is conditioned because it drives away the benedictions of life and prosperity. And just the opposite is Bhagavata Sangi, or one who is always in the association with the Lord's name, form, qualities, etc. Such association is always desirable, it is worshipable, it is praiseworthy, and one may accept it as the highest goal of life. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So we are reading this interesting chapter in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which describes the incident of the great Mahabhagavata, the pure devotee, Emperor Maharaja Parikshit, being cursed by a Brahmana boy. And the sages of Naimisharanya, who are all very eager to know why exactly Maharaj Parikshit was cursed. They are speaking these words, addressing Suta Goswami. So Suta Goswami was one of the members in the audience when Shukadev Goswami narrated Srimad Bhagavatam to Maharaj Parikshit. So Suta Goswami was very well aware of the circumstances which led to Maharaj Parikshit being cursed. And therefore all the sages who are assembled at Naimisharanya, they are interested to know what exactly happened. Why such an accomplished, powerful, opulent King Parikshit, and who was also a pure devotee of the Lord, why was he subjected to such a difficult situation of being cursed? So from the last 3 verses, we have been seeing how the sages are addressing Suta Goswami. And in fact, the sages in the previous verse, they have mentioned that we have just begun this sacrifice and we don't know when this sacrifice will end. And there are many imperfections in the performance of our sacrifice. Our bodies have become black because of the smoke. But one thing that is actually very pleasurable in this situation is that we are receiving the nectar of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, which you are distributing to all of us, O Suta Goswami, because you are narrating activities connected with the Lord and His pure devotees. This is what we saw in the previous verse. And in today's verse, a very beautiful verse, a very important verse, the sages are talking about the great quality, the greatness of the association with pure devotees. Tulayama lavenapi. Tulayama, tulaya means to compare, to weigh. We must be familiar with this Tula Bhara. In many temples, we have the Tula Bhara Seva. So there is a balance. On one side, a person will sit, and on the other side, they will weigh an equal amount of grains or some grocery or something like that, and they offer it as a seva to the deity in the temple. So this is Tulaya. Tulaya means to compare, to weigh. So Tulayama lavenapi na swargam na punarbhavam. So the sages are saying, on one side of the balance, you keep swargam, heavenly planets. Many people are interested to go to heavenly planets. Why? Because there is an opportunity to maximize one's sense gratification in the heavenly planets. So there is description that in the heavenly planets there are Nandana Kanana. In the Nandana gardens, a person who attains piety and reaches heavenly planets, he gets an opportunity to engage in more and more sense gratification with a more robust body, with a long duration of life. So these are all descriptions in the Karma Kanda section of the Vedic scriptures, and a lot of people are attracted towards these descriptions. So the sages are saying, on one side of the Tula, you keep this heavenly pleasures, right? Or you keep na apunar bhavam. Some people who are little intelligent, they say, what is the use of going to the heavenly planets and enjoying a long duration of life filled with sense gratification? Because after all that engagement, after all that enjoyment, one has to again die and again take birth. So there is no meaning in this. So they say, okay, let us aspire after liberation. Let us get liberation from this cycle of birth and death. And mostly, this kind of liberation that people talk about, the Jnanis talk about, it is about merging into Brahma Jyoti. They say, because I am present in this individual, as an individual, therefore I have to go through so many miseries, birth, death, and old age and disease. I am subjected to so many difficulties because I am an individual. So let me end my individuality by merging into Brahma Jyoti. So this is their philosophy. So this is the Jnani's philosophy. The Karmis aspire after Swargam, going to heavenly planets and enjoying a long duration of sense gratification. Whereas the other category, the Jnanis, they say we don't want this material pleasures in the heaven. We will go and merge into Brahma Jyoti, become one with God. Then no more problems. So the sages are saying, on one side of the Tula, you keep either the heavenly attainment, or you even keep the Apunar Bhavam, no more repetition of birth and death, the so-called liberation of the impersonalists, the Jnanis. But, and on the other side, what do you keep? Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya. Sangasya, association of Bhagavat Sangi. Bhagavat Sangi means those who are absorbed in Bhagavan. The pure devotees of the Lord, they are always in touch with the Lord. Therefore, they are called Bhagavat Sangi. Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya, association of such pure devotees who are always in touch with the Lord. That you keep on the other side of the Tula. And is it 1 year, 2 years, 10 years association with such pure devotees? No. The sages are saying, Lavena api. For a moment, lava is a Vedic unit of measurement of time. In the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the definition of lava is mentioned by Srila Prabhupada in one of the purports. So lava means 8 by 45 of a second. 1 second itself is such a short duration of time. And you divide 1 second into 45 parts, and 8 such parts is called 1 lava. So, lavenapi Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya, a moment's association with a pure devotee of the Lord. So, the sages are saying, Tulayama na. This comparison is not possible. That means on one side you keep Swarga and you compare with 1 moment's association of a pure devotee. No, this 1 moment of association of a pure devotee is much more valuable than even attainment of Swarga. You cannot compare these two things. What about liberation? Apunar Bhavaha? Even that also. Apunar Bhavaha, merging into Brahma Jyoti, escaping the cycle of birth and death, even that is incomparable to a Lavenapi Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya, to a moment's association with a pure devotee. These two they are not comparable at all. That means a moment's association of a pure devotee is so valuable, so powerful, so important. Nothing in this material world can compare to this. And in fact, in the last line of this shloka, it is mentioned, Martyanam kim uta shishaha. Martyanam means this material world is called Mrityu Loka. Everybody is called a Martya. Martya means a person who is subjected to Mrityu. He is called Martya. This material world itself is called Martya Loka because everybody is subjected to death. Nobody can escape, as sure as death. So, if these two, attainment of heavenly planets and merging into Brahma Jyoti, if these two things themselves cannot be compared to a moment's association with a pure devotee, then what to speak of other material achievements in this world? They are definitely not comparable. Kimutashishaha, what to speak of all such other attainments which people aspire after in this material world? Generally, people aspire after so many things in this material world. What is that? Rupam dehi, dhanam dehi, rupavati bharya dehi. Dehi means give me. Generally, people worship the devatas asking like this, dehi, dehi, give me. What is that? Rupam dehi. I should become handsome. I should become beautiful. Give me good bodily beauty. Dehi. Now, is that enough? No. Dhanam dehi. Give me a lot of wealth. Because money is sweeter than honey. Everybody aspires after money. So, dhanam dehi. I want this. Is that enough? No. Rupavati bharya dehi. Not simply bharya. Rupavati bharya. Give me a beautiful wife. These are the aspirations and goals of people in this material world. And here the sages are saying all such things are actually meant for martyanam. They are actually meant for those who are subjected to birth and death. Such things can definitely not be comparable to a moment's association with a pure devotee. That means, what is that the sages are saying? What is the lesson for us from this verse? The sages are saying that nothing in this material world is comparable to a moment's association with a pure devotee of the Lord. Nothing. You cannot compare nothing and anything. Some big fat salary, some big bank balance. Can I compare that with the Lord, with the devotee's association? No, it cannot be compared. Job in the Fortune 500 company, can I compare that? No, that is also not comparable. Nothing is comparable. And in the modern day, there are many YouTubers and social media influencers, and they want huge number of followers, subscribers. Some 10 million subscribers, 15 million subscribers. Can that achievement be comparable to a moment's association with a pure devotee? No, even that is not comparable. That means, what is that we must pursue in our life? So the sages are saying all these things, they are all meaningless. You should not pursue these things in your life. These things may be required, but these cannot be considered the highest perfection of life. Definitely we need money, we need, maybe YouTubers need subscribers, we need, all of these things are required. But can these things be considered the ultimate goal of life? The sages of Naimisharanya are saying, no, don't do that mistake. Then what should be the ultimate goal of life? That which is most precious, that which is most valuable, you should make that as the ultimate goal of your life. Something which cannot be compared to anything material, that you should make as the ultimate goal of life. And what is that? Lavenapi bhagavat sangi sangasya. What we should make as the ultimate goal of our life? Can I get moment of association with the pure devotee of the Lord? How can I fill my life with more such moments of association with the pure devotee of the Lord? That should be the goal of our life. That should be the aspiration of a progressive devotee. So this is what the sages are telling us. So why is the association with a pure devotee, why is it so important? Why it is so much stressed here? Let us try to understand. One of the Sanskrit Subhashitas mentions this. It says, Chandanam Shitalam Loke Chandanapi Chandrama Chandra Chandanayor Madhye Shitala Sadhu Sangati. A very interesting comparison is made here. Chandanam Shitalam Loke. Loke, in this world. What is Shitalam? Cooling. Shitalam means cooling. Very much required because summer has already started. Summer. This time summer has come very early. Looks like. And every year this is our complaint. Isn't it? When there is summer, are we happy? We are not happy. We are so much disturbed. And we think, when will this summer end? When will rainy season come? And when rainy season comes, are we happy? We say, when this rain will end? Every day it is raining, morning, evening, no time only. I cannot go out. So many of my plants are getting disturbed. When will this rain end? So after rainy season ends, we get winter. Then are we happy? Oh, when will this winter end? It is so cold. Isn't it? When will summer come? We will think like that. Oh, if summer comes, maybe we can have some mangoes. It's very nice. Isn't it? Every season we think like this. Because we think that we can be happy in this material world, either in summer or winter or by making so many arrangements. But all our arrangements fail one or the other way. And we always think, when is the next season coming? Next, what is the next thing? Anyway, always we are disturbed. Udvigna manaha. So this is one of the characteristics of life in this material world. Anyway, so Shitalam, we aspire for something cooling in this summer season. Right? Beat the heat, they say. Right? So many ways to beat the heat. So here this verse says, Chandanam Shitalam Loke. So in the Vedic period, how they used to keep themselves cool? By applying Chandanam. Of course, today it is not possible. Chandanam is very costly. Everybody cannot get this. In fact, in Malaysia, once upon a time, Malayasyeva Chandanam. Malaysia was famous for sandalwood. Right? But today, because of the advancement of Kali Yuga, all the sandalwood trees are replaced with rubber trees. Right? That is Kali Yuga advancement. So, Chandanam Shitalam Loke. So, it is very cooling if you apply Chandanam, especially in the scorching sun. Now, better than Chandanam, is there something? Chandanam api Chandrama. So, in the evening, in the night, when the moon rises, it's very cooling. So, people want to spend some time in the moonshine. Moonshine is cooling. So, to get some relief from the day long of scorching sun, spend some time in the cooling moonshine. So, it is said, more than Chandrama, the moonshine is very cooling. Is there something which is more cooling than both of these? So here it says, Chandra Chandanayor Madhye Shitala Sadhu Sangati. Better than Chandrama and Chandana. What is more soothing? What is more cooling? That is Sadhu Sangati, association of devotees of the Lord. Why? Because in this material world, every day we sing, Samsara Dhavanala Lidha Loka. It is like a blazing forest fire. Dhavanala. Only in summer we think it is hot. It is blazing. No. Throughout 365 days a year, we are actually suffering the blazing forest fire of this material existence. In terms of so many miseries. 3 types of miseries. Adhyatmika klesha, adibhautika klesha, adidaivika klesha. Misery is caused by our own body and mind. Misery is caused by other people, other living entities. And misery is caused by higher forces of nature. They are constantly tormenting us. So this is the forest fire. Scorching. Right? So, amidst this kind of a forest fire, what can actually give us Shitalam? What can actually give us that soothing experience? That is Sadhu Sangati, association of devotees. Because when we come to the association of devotees, we understand how to tolerate these difficulties of this material world and how not to settle down in this material world. How to get out of this material world, the forest fire. We receive the mercy of the Lord through the spiritual master in the Sadhu Sangati. Therefore, this Sadhu Sangati is the real soothing thing in this material world. We should actually aspire for more and more association of the pure devotee Srila Prabhupada. Sometimes we think, oh, there were devotees during the time of Srila Prabhupada. They were so fortunate. They would get Prabhupada's association. Directly they would speak to Prabhupada. They would hear from Prabhupada. I am so unfortunate. I am born now. So Prabhupada's association is not available for me. No, it is not like that. Prabhupada's association is very much available for all of us, even today. In the form of his books, in the form of his recorded lectures, room conversations, morning walks. We can associate with Prabhupada through all of these things. And that can actually help us get out of this blazing forest fire of material existence. The scriptures talk about the importance of association with a pure devotee. There was one hunter in the forest. His name was Mrigari. Mrigari. Mriga means animals in the forest. Ari means enemy. So this hunter was the enemy of all the animals in the forest. So this Mrigari, he had a unique way of killing animals. He would actually shoot arrows at the animals like rabbits, deer, and all of those animals in the forest. But he would make sure that the animals won't die immediately. He was half killing the animals. And when those animals were struggling with pain, neither living nor dying, this Mrigari would see them and he would take pleasure from that. This was the sadistic mentality of Mrigari. He would take pleasure in that. He would not kill the animals. He would half kill the animals, and when he would see them struggling and suffering, he would take pleasure. You can just imagine the level of consciousness of this Mrigari. So Narad Muni happened to pass through that place, that jungle, one day. Narad Muni, such a pure, such an exalted personality. Wherever he goes, he chants the holy name of the Lord, and he converts that place into a place of pilgrimage. This is what is spoken about in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Tirthi Kurvani Tirthani. A pure devotee of the Lord, since he carries Krishna with him everywhere, wherever he goes, that place becomes a place of pilgrimage. So Narad Muni goes about everywhere in this material world, playing his stringed instrument, chanting the Lord's holy names, and he spreads Krishna consciousness in this way. So Narada, the very meaning of the word Narada. Narada means Daine, one who gives. Narayana, one who gives Narayana, one who gives the holy name of the Lord, one who gives devotional service of the Lord, Daine, he is called Narada. So this Narad Muni, he wanted to show his mercy to this Mrigari out of his compassion. Why was Narad Muni compassionate towards Mrigari? Was he compassionate towards Mrigari or the animals which were suffering there? Actually, Narad Muni was compassionate towards both of them. To the gross eyes, it appears that only those animals which were half killed by Mrigari, they were suffering. But actually, Mrigari was himself suffering. Why he was suffering? Because of his sinful activities. Because of his sinful thoughts and activities, his heart was like a stone. It had become stone-like. When we perform sinful activities, our heart becomes stone-like. And it becomes unfit for the Lord to come and stay in the heart. So Narad Muni said, why he is suffering so much and he is giving suffering to others also? We should do something to this person. So Narad Muni went and spoke to this Mrigari, and by his association, by his influence, Narad Muni was able to convince Mrigari to give up his sinful profession. He said, this is all sinful, you're going to suffer for this. Why are you doing this? Don't kill these animals in this way. He said, this is what I have learned from my father. This is our family business. Half killing animals. This is how I have learned hunting animals. So then Narad Muni, by his influence, he said, please give up this. And his influence was so powerful, even the stone-hearted Mrigari, he said, I will give up this sinful activity. Now tell me, how will I take care of myself and my family? This is the next question. Right? Narad Muni said, don't worry. That will be arranged by the Lord. First you give up this sinful activity. So Mrigari gave up that sinful activity of killing animals, and he simply sat down and started chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. This is what happens when we get association of pure devotee. Before coming to the association of Srila Prabhupada, our life is going in one direction, right? Driven by our karma, driven by our desires, one way it is going. But when Prabhupada's mercy enters our life, it is a 180-degree shift. It is a revolution that happens, right? So there is a U-turn. You're going away from Krishna, come towards Krishna, right? So, the real turning point in our life is when Prabhupada entered our life. That is real turning point. Many times people say, 10th standard board exam is your turning point in your life. 12th exam is the turning point in your life. Getting a job is turning point in your life. Getting a proper life partner is a real turning point in your life. No, these are not the real turning points. The real turning point, the real game changer is when the pure devotee's mercy enters our life. And all of us are so fortunate because we have received the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, who is a pure representative of Narad Muni. So, this Mrigari gave up his sinful activities. He was sitting and chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Meanwhile, this news spread all over in the neighboring villages. Oh, that Mrigari, that murderer, he has become a devotee. Murderer sadhu ban gaya. So this news spread. And everybody wanted to go and visit this, see the miracle for themselves. And generally when you visit a sadhu, or when you visit the Lord in the temple, you should not come empty-handed. You should bring some offering, some gift. Patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam, something we should bring. So all the villagers, they brought some vegetables, some groceries, dal, rice, ghee, so many things they brought. And they all were offering it to this Mrigari. And Mrigari was so happy to receive so much. It was more than sufficient for the maintenance of himself and his family. So what he did, let us do one prasadam distribution program. So what he did, he cooked varieties of dishes, offered to the Lord, and whoever came, they were given prasadam. So you bring all these groceries, take prasadam and go. This is an exchange offer. Right? So this was going on every day. That means if you have faith in the words of a pure devotee and follow his instructions seriously, all problems will be taken care. Mrigari's concern was what will happen to the maintenance of myself and my family members. But that is taken care by the Lord. That is the power of pure devotees' words. We simply have to put faith and sincerely apply ourselves, follow the instructions of the pure devotee, spiritual master. And after many days, Narad Muni wanted to come and see how is my disciple progressing. I told him to give up sinful activity and chant Hare Krishna, but is he actually doing it or has he gone back to his old ways? Narad Muni wanted to examine. See, this is the mercy of a pure devotee. Pure devotee doesn't only give us instruction, but he also is concerned about us. He's truly concerned. Prabhupada is truly concerned about each one of us. He not only gives us the Bhakti Lata Bija, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but he also is concerned. So he provides various help through association of his disciples who call you, invite you to the temple. Right? This is all mercy of Prabhupada. And through various service engagements, oh, you come, Brahmotsava is coming up. Why don't you come and render service in the temple? This is the mercy extended by Srila Prabhupada to all of us. That is the way Prabhupada follows up with each one of us. It's not just one day, you come to temple, receive Hare Krishna mantra and go back. Never to see you again back. No. Prabhupada is so merciful. He has created so many various engagements so that we keep ourselves interested and busy in the activities of Krishna consciousness. So this Narad Muni came back along with his friend Parvata Muni. Let's see, one murderer had become sadhu, devotee. Let's see how he is progressing. So both of them came. And this time when Narad Muni and Parvata Muni, they were approaching Mrigari's house, Mrigari was sitting in front of Tulsi Maharani and chanting Hare Krishna. And as soon as he saw, oh, my spiritual master has come. So with great haste, he stood up and started walking towards his spiritual master to receive him. But on the way, he saw some ants were there. And he was so conscious, oh, if I trample on these ants, they will die. Right? It's not good. So he took his upper cloth and he slowly, moved the ants to the side of the path and then he started walking. Then Parvata Muni noticed this. What a big transformation. That person who was so sadistic, who was taking pleasure by seeing animals suffer, half dead, that person is not ready to even kill one ant today. What magic have you done, Narad Muni? So Parvata Muni said, you are a touchstone. Anybody who comes in touch with you, they get transformed into devotees. This is the glory of pure devotees association. Touchstone. What is the quality of this touchstone? If it touches, let's say, this table, the table becomes golden table. If the touchstone is brought in touch with this mic, the mic and the mic stand become golden mic. That means it has the ability to convert anything, transform anything to gold. That is touchstone, Chintamani. And Narad Muni is such a touchstone devotee. Whoever he comes in touch with, they get transformed. So Prabhupada also is like that. When Prabhupada went to the West, all those were like Mrigaris only. Just that they were not grossly hunting. But They were into all kinds of sinful activities. And of course, all of us also fall into that bracket. We should not think, oh, now I am an elevated soul. No, we are also like that. So, but as long as we keep in touch with Prabhupada's Vani, take association with him, our life gets transformed by touch of Prabhupada. Sunday morning, we are all here attending Kirtan, having darshan in the temple, hearing Bhagavatam. This is the touchstone effect of Srila Prabhupada. We are, otherwise generally, Sunday morning, what do generally people do? Sleep nicely. They say one day in a week we have got some day off. We should utilize nicely. Every moment is precious. Just like here, the sages are saying, even a moment's association with pure devotee is precious. Like that, generally people think, every moment on Sunday is precious because I have to sleep. One moment I don't want to waste. Like this. But, so isn't it a transformation? It is definitely a transformation. So this is the touchstone effect of Srila Prabhupada. Right? Once, Srila Prabhupada was traveling in a flight. Venezuela Airlines. Prabhupada was traveling from Mexico City to a place called Caracas. And in that flight journey, Prabhupada was accompanied by two of his disciples, Shrutakirti Prabhu and another devotee was there. And after some time, Prabhupada asked for some prasadam. Do you have some prasadam, something to eat? So they arranged for puffed rice. You know, puffed rice mixed with roasted peanuts. So Prabhupada liked that very much. So Prabhupada was eating a few palmfuls. He was eating it. And after some time he said, that's enough. Now the other two disciples, the disciples who were there, they were so happy. Oh, we have got some Mahaprasadam now, remnants of what Prabhupada has left, Mahaprasadam. So they were so happy to take some of them and they also wanted to honor that Mahaprasadam. So that time, an air hostess, she passed that way. In the aisle she was walking. And generally air hostess don't do this. But somehow she was little unconventional. So she said, what is this? She pointed out at that puffed rice and said, what is this? And they said, it's puffed rice. And she took a palmful of it and she ate it. Without asking, she just ate. Right? And she was saying, what can I get for you, Prabhupada? She asked, what can I get for you? So Prabhupada said, milk, some milk you bring. So she had the puffed rice, brought milk, served Prabhupada, and she continued with her duties. And after about 10 years, the same devotee, Shrutakirti Prabhu, who was there in this incident, he was giving a class, and one of the devotees after the class stood up and said, I want to share something with you. So I was going to door, doing book distribution. And I came across an old woman's, I came across a middle-aged woman. And as soon as she saw us, she was very happy. She welcomed us in. We wanted her to purchase a book, but then she said, I'm already having all of these books. And she also showed her altar where she is worshipping Prabhupada, Panchatattva, Radha Krishna. And she narrated that I personally met your spiritual master in that flight 10 years ago. And I had the great fortune of talking to him personally and serving him some milk. And I also received puffed rice, Mahaprasadam. That time I didn't know the effect of this, but today I understand it is so powerful. So in this way, a few moments of association with Prabhupada has transformed my life into a devotee. So like this, she was so happy. So she was so happy to share this. So this is Tulayama Lavenapi Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya. A moment's association with a pure devotee cannot be compared to any material achievement in this world. That is a fact. Right? So, towards the end of this purport, Prabhupada is mentioning four important qualities of association with pure devotee. The very last sentence, Prabhupada is saying, such association is always, number one, desirable. It is, number two, worshipable. Number three, it is praiseworthy. And one may accept this as the highest goal of life. Four things Prabhupada is mentioning about association with pure devotee. Right? It is desirable. That means it's the most desirable thing in this world. We are all suffering in this world without association with the Lord, forgetfulness of the Lord. But if you take association of pure devotee, we can become free from this forgetfulness and go back to Godhead, where we can enjoy eternal life full of bliss and knowledge. Therefore, it is a most desirable thing. So, Chanakya Pandit says this, Tyaja durjana samsargam bhaja sadhu samagamam. Give up bad association, give up the association of durjana and rejoice in the association of devotees. Seek more and more sadhu sangha. In fact, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asked, what is the most important duty of a Vaishnava? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Asat Sangha Tyaga Ei Vaishnava Achar. You must give up Asat Sangha, give up association of worldly minded materialistic people. How can we give up that association? Only when we have attraction towards association with pure devotee Srila Prabhupada, association with devotees. That is required. So when we have association with devotees, that helps us to become detached from the association of unwanted people. Right? So, and second thing is, association with pure devotee is worshipable. Why it is worshipable? Rishabh Deva instructs to his sons in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahat Sevam Dwaram Ahur Vimuktehe. By associating, by serving a pure devotee, the doors of liberation are open. On the other hand, Tamodwaram Yoshitam Sangi Sangam. By associating with materialistic people, door for hell is open. So which door you want to open is a question. Both doors are available. The button is with you. Which button will you push? If you push the button of association with pure devotee, then the doors of liberation, Krishna Loka doors will be open. But if you push the button of associating with materialistic people, then the doors of hell will be open. So therefore, we have to intelligently think which door to open. And then it is praiseworthy. Association with pure devotee is praiseworthy, because there is another comparison made in the 1st canto of Bhagavatam. The Ganga water is very pure because it has emanated from the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. But that means if you take bath in Ganga river, you get free from sinful reactions. That's why people go for Ganga Snan, right? But the Bhagavatam says you can achieve the benefit of taking bath in Ganga only after prolonged use. Not just one-time bath, prolonged use. But in comparison to that, if you associate with a devotee, lavenapi, a moment's association is most purifying. That means one lecture of Prabhupada, if you hear, the benefit that you get cannot be compared with 1,000 Ganga Snana. That is the power. When we read Prabhupada's books, attentively, sincerely, you get, the benefit that you get is incomparable even to the performance of thousands and thousands of yajnas or Ganga Snana and all of these things. Therefore, association with Prabhupada is praiseworthy. And today, even though Maya has also advanced in various ways through technology, Maya is also trying to attack us, but the devotees are intelligent. They have used the same techniques and technology to give us association of Prabhupada also through these various technologies. Earlier you had to carry the whole, if you want to read Bhagavatam, the whole Bhagavatam set you have to carry with you, or book you have to carry. You don't have to do that. On your fingertips, in your smartphones, Prabhupada's books are available. So every moment, any free moment you get, you should open, read. Read at least for 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Read, associate. We must have that thirst. What is Prabhupada saying in his books? Let me read. So when we sincerely read and when we associate more and more with Prabhupada, definitely that is the greatest achievement. That is the greatest wealth. As Prabhupada says here, the wealth of devotees and wealth of materialistic people, the assets are totally different. Right? Car, bungalow, all those things are the assets that generally materialistic people hanker after. Devotees can also possess that. There is nothing wrong in it. But if we are attached only to these things and we are not attached to sadhu sangha, then that is the biggest loss. So therefore, our asset is, okay, today I chanted this many rounds of Hare Krishna mantra. It is deposited in your permanent bank account. It's your permanent asset. Today I learnt one shloka in Bhagavatam. It's a permanent asset. No one can take it back. Today I attended Mangalarati. Permanent asset. So we should be greedy to acquire more and more such eternal permanent assets. And that is possible by hearing, by reading Srila Prabhupada's books, associating with his devotees, trying to understand more about Krishna consciousness, and sincerely following it. So with this, we end today's session. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Mitai Gaur Premanandi.